I don't want your genetics in my kids, my fiancée said, smiling like she'd solved a math problem. I nodded once and said, fair enough, then canceled our wedding while she was at the venue's final walkthrough. Hey friends, please like this video and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you, it's all thanks to you. My name is Luke. I was 31, living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I worked as an operations manager for a medical supply distributor. The job is exactly what it sounds like: routes, invoices, contracts, and making sure people get what they need on time. It's not glamorous, but it's stable, and stability is something I take seriously. I'm not a model, I'm average height. I keep my hair short because it's thinning at the corners, and I've got the kind of build you get from early mornings in a warehouse and later evenings in a gym, not from posing on a beach. What I am is consistent. I don't disappear. I don't lie. I don't play games with money or commitments. That's part of why I thought Hannah and I worked. Hannah was 28, a brand partnerships coordinator for a boutique marketing agency. She was good at her job because she could make anything sound like a lifestyle. A smoothie wasn't a smoothie, it was a wellness ritual. A weekend trip wasn't a weekend trip, it was a reset. She always looked put together in a way that felt effortless, even though I knew it was. When we first started dating, she made me feel like the calm center of her world. She'd tell me I was safe, and I took that as a compliment. She'd say she liked that I had a plan, and I believed she meant she respected it. When I proposed after 2 years, she cried, said yes, hugged me so tight my ribs hurt, and posted a photo of the ring within an hour. She captioned it, "Forever with my rock." I didn't mind the post. I was proud. I was happy. I didn't realize rock was her way of saying foundation, and foundation was her way of saying resource. The wedding planning started fast. That should have been exciting. Instead, it started feeling like I was watching someone build a set for a show. Hannah didn't talk about the wedding like it was a moment for us. She talked about it like it was content. The lighting has to be right, she'd say, scrolling venues. If it's too warm, it looks cheap. Cheap was her favorite insult. Cheap flowers, cheap fonts, cheap food, cheap people sometimes when she was irritated. The beige flags were small at first, comments that could pass for jokes. At a dinner with her friends, one of them asked what I did, and Hannah answered for me. He's in logistics, she said, and then she laughed. Basically, he's the guy who makes sure everyone else's life runs smoothly. Her friends laughed too, like it was a sweet little roast. When I started to speak, she added, he's not flashy, but he's reliable, like a minivan. Minivan. I smiled because I didn't want to be the guy who ruins the mood. In the car on the way home, I said, that didn't feel great. Hannah sighed and looked out the window. Luke, you take everything personally, it's just humor. That was the first time she used that tone, the one that made me feel like I was the problem for reacting. Then there was her obsession with status, not money exactly, image. She'd critique other people's weddings like she was grading them. She'd say things like, I can't do a basic venue, and I don't want a tacky honeymoon. She'd send me links to rings her friends got as inspiration, even though she already had a ring on her finger. I was paying attention to the actual numbers, deposits, contracts, payment schedules. Hannah was paying attention to what it would look like. Her ex showed up in the background of all of it like a recurring character she refused to write out. His name was Mason. He was 30, tall, good-looking in a clean-cut way, and unstable in the way Hannah called spontaneous. He bounced between projects, had a different car every year, and always seemed to be in a new phase of self-improvement that required someone else to fund it emotionally. Hannah told me early on, Mason and I are cool, we're adults. I believed her because I wanted to believe her. But Mason was everywhere in tiny ways. She'd see a couple jogging and say, Mason used to run marathons. She'd see a nice watch in a store and say, Mason would wear that so well. She'd show me a photo of an outfit and say, Mason always knew how to dress for photos. I'd raise an eyebrow and she'd smile innocently and say, what? It's just an observation. Sounds harmless until it adds up. A month into planning, I noticed Mason's name in her phone notifications more than once. She didn't hide it, which was almost worse. It was like she didn't think she had to. One night I asked, why are you texting him so much? She didn't look up from her phone. He's helping. With what? I asked. With ideas, she said. He has good taste. Good taste, like my opinion on my own wedding, didn't count. I brushed it off because I didn't want to be controlling. I told myself it was just old history and social media noise. Then she started using the word logic, the way people use a hammer. Logically, we should do the more expensive photographer, she'd say, because the photos last forever. Logically, the honeymoon should be somewhere that looks exclusive. Logically, you should upgrade your suit. Whenever I disagreed, she'd look at me with that calm, professional face and say, "Why are you being emotional?" I'm not an emotional guy in the loud sense, but I do feel things. I just try not to let feelings drive decisions. That's what she liked about me, until it got in her way. Our final straw came 6 weeks before the wedding. We were at home on a Wednesday, eating takeout Thai and going over the timeline our planner had sent. Hannah was sitting on the couch with her laptop open. I was at the dining table with printed contracts because I like paper when money is involved. She was unusually cheerful, which should have been a clue. "Can we talk about something kind of sensitive?" she asked. I set my pen down, sure. She inhaled like she was about to present a pitch deck. "I've been thinking about our future, like kids." That part didn't scare me. We talked about kids before. I wanted them someday. She continued softly, "You know I love you, right?" The way she said it made my stomach tighten. It sounded like a warning label. "I love you too," I said. She nodded, then delivered it like she was reading a conclusion. "I don't want your genetics in my kids." My brain didn't process it at first. I actually waited for her to smile and say she was joking. She didn't, though. She leaned forward, eyes steady. "I'm just being honest. Mason has better genetics. He's taller, better hair. His family is athletic. Our kids would have a better chance." I felt my chest go quiet, not anger, not panic, just a sudden, clean emptiness like a switch flipped. I asked, "Are you hearing yourself?" She waved a hand. "Don't make it dramatic. It's not an insult. You're amazing. You'd be a great dad. You're stable and kind." Stable, kind, like I was a daycare worker she appreciated. Then she said the part that snapped the last thread. "I already talked to Mason about it," she added. "He's open to it." I stared at her. "You talked to him about having children with you?" She corrected me immediately, like I was misunderstanding the assignment. "Not like that. It would be arranged, clean, no feelings, just the best outcome." The best outcome. I looked down at my hands on the table. They weren't shaking. That's what made it real. Hannah watched my face, waiting for me to argue, waiting for tears, waiting for me to beg her to choose me. Instead, I heard my own voice come out calm and flat. "Fair enough," I said. Her shoulders relaxed like she'd won. "See, I knew you'd understand. You're not insecure." I nodded once. "Fair enough," I repeated. "If you want kids with Mason, you should build a life with Mason." Her smile faltered. "Luke, stop. I'm marrying you." I met her eyes. "No, you're marrying a role, a provider, a safe option, and you're asking another man to be the father. That's not a marriage." She blinked, offended. "You're twisting it." "I'm describing it," I said, "and I'm not debating it." She got sharper. "You can't just cancel a wedding over one conversation." I stood up and picked up my empty takeout container. "Watch me," I said quietly. Then I added the line again because it felt like the only honest thing. "Fair enough." I went to the guest room and closed the door. That night I didn't sleep. I planned. Not revenge, not drama, logistics. At 12:22 a.m., I opened the wedding folder on my laptop. Contracts, receipts, emails, deposit confirmations. Everything was already organized because I'm the kind of person who keeps proof without meaning to. Venue deposit $8,000, catering deposit $3,500, photographer retainer $2,200, DJ $700, florist $1,100, planner $1,500. At 12:51 a.m., I called my credit card company and removed Hannah as an authorized user. Calm voice, simple request. They confirmed it would be effective immediately and offered a new card number. I accepted. At 1:10 a.m., I changed passwords to anything connected to my finances or our vendors. Not because I thought she'd commit a crime, but because I knew she'd panic, and panic makes people do stupid things. At 1:45 a.m., I drafted cancellation emails to each vendor. Short, professional, no details. Due to a personal change, the event scheduled for March 9 is canceled. Please confirm cancellation terms and any refundable amounts in writing. I saved them as drafts. Timing mattered. At 2:15 a.m., I reviewed our living situation. The townhouse was mine. Hannah had moved in, but she wasn't on the deed. We de-signed a simple month-to-month occupancy agreement when she moved in, mostly to clarify responsibilities. She'd teased me for it at the time. Mr. Contract, she'd called me. Fair enough. At 2:40 a.m., I texted my neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, a retired sheriff's deputy who still carried himself like one. Can you be home Saturday morning? I need a neutral witness for a pickup. He replied, everything okay. I wrote no, but I'm handling it. The next morning, Hannah left for the venue's final walkthrough with our planner. High stakes, public, full of people, the kind of moment she cared about deeply. Before she walked out, she said, don't do anything stupid today. I looked at her calm. Fair enough, I said. She didn't catch the change in mining. The second her car backed out, I hit send on every cancellation email. Venue first, then catering, then photographer, then DJ, florist, planner. Then I called the venue coordinator to make sure they got it. She did. She asked if everything was okay. I said, we're canceling the event, and left it there. At 11:26 a.m., my phone rang. Hannah. I answered on the third ring. Her voice was tight and breathless, like she was talking through clenched teeth in a hallway. Luke, what did you do? I stayed seated at my kitchen table. What happened? The planner just got an email that you canceled, she hissed. The venue coordinator is here. My mom is on speaker. Everyone is staring at me. I kept my tone steady. Yes, I canceled. You can't, she said. This is humiliating. I'm not responsible for managing your image, I replied. I'm responsible for my boundaries. She lowered her voice and I could hear bathroom echo. Okay, fine, we can talk tonight, just undo it, please. No, I said. Why are you doing this? She snapped. Because of that stupid genetics talk, it was just logic. Logic is fine, I said. Disrespect is. She tried to pivot, softer voice. Luke, I didn't mean it as a rejection. You're still the one I want to marry. I paused just long enough for the truth to land. If I'm the one you want, I said, you don't ask your ex to father your children. Silence. Then sharper, Mason is not my ex, she whispered like that made it better. He's just an option for the biology part. The biology part, I repeated. Fair enough. Then Mason can do the life part too. She sounded panicked now. Stop, you're being cruel. I'm being clear, I said. We'll communicate by text only. You have 30 days to move out per our agreement. If you want to pick up your things sooner, Saturday at 10 a.m. Mr. Alvarez will be here as a witness. She inhaled like she wanted to scream. You're threatening me. No, I said, I'm preventing a scene. Then I gave her the clean ending she deserved. This is over, I said. Fair enough. And I ended the call. By that afternoon, the smear post went up. A selfie of Hannah in the passenger seat, eyes red, captioned, when a man can't handle honesty and punishes you for it. Her friends jumped in immediately. He was insecure. He never deserved you. Men want control. Then she got bolder. She posted, he canceled our wedding because I suggested a modern, practical way to plan our family. He's vindictive. I didn't respond right away. I waited until she crossed the line into a lie. At 6:02 p.m., she posted again. He kicked me out with no notice and stole my deposits. That one was measurable. That one was false. So I responded once, one time with facts. I posted a short statement on my page. I ended the engagement after Hannah told me she didn't want my genetics in our children and confirmed she already discussed having children with her ex, Mason. I'm not interested in that arrangement. For clarity, here are screenshots of her texts repeating it, along with the move-out notice date per our signed agreement. I attached 2 screenshots from the night before, because after I walked into the guest room, she'd texted me, "Don't be emotional. Mason is just better genetics, it's logic." Then he agreed. Her words, her timestamps, no insults, no extra commentary. Then I went silent. The comments under her post changed fast. People don't love being manipulated when proof is clean. Some of her friends deleted their comments. Her sister messaged me privately, "I'm sorry, I didn't know she said that." Hannah texted me non-stop. "Delight IT. You're ruining me. My mom is crying. I was stressed." I replied once, "I'm not debating this. Saturday at 10 a.m. for pickup." Then I stopped. Saturday came. Mr. Alvarez was already on my porch at 9:55, arms folded, calm as stone. My coworker Tessa came too, not as muscle, just as a second neutral person. I wanted witnesses. I wanted no confusion. Hannah arrived at 10:08 with her mother and a friend. She walked in like she expected me to be angry, to be shouting, to be dramatic. Instead, everything was packed neatly in labeled boxes in the living room, clothes folded, shoes bagged, small items separated. I had a printed inventory sheet, 2 copies ready to sign. Hannah blinked at the organization like it offended her. "You packed my stuff," she said. "Yes," I replied, "so you can leave without drama." Her mom stepped forward, eyes sharp. "Luke, you're throwing away a good woman over a hypothetical." I didn't argue with her mother. I handed Hannah the inventory sheet and a pen. "This wasn't hypothetical," I said calmly. "It was a plan with another man." Hannah's face tightened. I was trying to be honest. "No," I said, "you were trying to be comfortable." She swallowed. "I can block Mason." I nodded. "Fair enough. You should do that for the next guy." Her friend made a small sound, like she didn't like where this was going. Hannah's voice broke slightly. "Luke, please, we can fix this. I didn't think you'd actually leave." I looked at her, and for a second, I saw the version of her I fell for. Then she said the sentence that killed that version too. "You'll never do better than me," she whispered, like she needed to believe it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. "Fair enough," I said, "then you'll be fine." Mr. Alvarez cleared his throat, the sound of a man reminding everyone he's present. Hannah signed the inventory sheet with a shaking hand. I signed. Tessa signed as witness. Mr. Alvarez signed as a second witness. Hannah's mother opened her mouth like she wanted the last word. I didn't give her space for it. "Keys," I said, holding out my hand. Hannah dropped them into my palm, eyes wet, jaw tight. At the door, she turned back, searching for a final hook. "Mason thinks you're overreacting," she said. I nodded once. "Fair enough," I replied. "Mason can marry you." She froze, then walked out. After they left, the townhouse felt quiet in a clean way, like the air had been reset. Over the next 2 weeks, the refunds arrived. The venue returned $5,500 of the $8,000 deposit. The caterer returned $1,750 of the $3,500. The photographer kept the full retainer, which I expected. The planner kept her fee. I lost money. I didn't lose my future. Hannah tried to float back in, quietly, once the online sympathy dried up. She texted at 11:47 p.m. one night, "Can we talk? I miss you. I didn't mean it like that." I replied, "No." 2 weeks later, she sent another. "Mason isn't who I thought he was." That one made me stare at my phone for a long moment, not because it hurt, but because it was predictable. I didn't respond. That was her quiet karma. The premium option wasn't premium when it came time to be real. Mine was quieter. I started sleeping through the night. I stopped feeling like I was being evaluated. I ate dinner without someone grading the plating. I went hiking at Umstead on a Saturday morning and realized I could breathe again. About 9 months later, I met a woman named Erin at a volunteer event. She was 32, a nurse, tired in a real way, kind in a real way. She didn't treat kindness like weakness. She didn't confuse logic with cruelty. On our third date, I told her, in simple terms, why my engagement ended. Erin listened, shook her head once, and said, "That's not logic. That's disrespect dressed up as logic." I nodded, and it felt like hearing the truth spoken out loud for the first time. A year after the breakup, Hannah showed up at my door on a Sunday afternoon, hair done, makeup perfect, like she was trying to rewind time. "I made a mistake," she said, voice soft. I didn't invite her in. I kept my hand on the door. "Fair enough," I said. Her eyes brightened like she thought that meant hope. Then I finished the sentence. "Fair enough," I repeated, calm as ever, "but I'm not your backup plan." She tried to speak. I didn't let it turn into a scene. "I wish you well," I said, "but we're done." And I closed the door gently, like ending a call. If you've ever had someone reduce you to a role and call it logic, tell me in the comments what you did next, because I know I'm not the only one.